This reform is not just on rationalizing rates. It's also on structural reforms. It's also on ease of living, so that businesses can do their business of working together with the GST with a great ease.
India's new GST regime is here. The GST Council approves a two-slab structure of 5% and 18% and a special 40% rate for sin and super luxury items. The new rates will take effect from 22nd of September. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails the move, says the common man will benefit greatly. And CNBC TV18 news break on all rates confirmed. Small cars will now face 18% GST versus 28% earlier, while motorcycles under 350cc and three-wheelers get cheaper and have been brought under the 18% bracket. Electric vehicles remain at 5%. In a big boost for insurance companies, the GST Council also exempts individual life and health insurance from GST. In addition, GST on reinsurance cost also is exempted, confirming CNBC TV18 Newsbreak. A big boost for the consumption story as a new GST rate save big on daily essentials in the 12 to 18% bracket to now 5% bracket. Electronics such as ACs, TVs also see a cut from 28% to just 18% rate. Tech rally boosts stocks on Wall Street as key indices close the day with gains. Dow Jones, meanwhile, closes with marginal cuts. Asian markets open in with gains, tracking the Wall Street cues. GIFT Nifty is indicating a gap-up opening for the Indian market. Hello and good morning. You've tuned into Power Breakfast on CNBC TV18. I'm Vinny Motiwala and thank you so much for tuning in as always. And a very big announcement that came in last time, and that's going to be our top story for today as CNBC TV18's Newsbreak has been confirmed. The GST Council has approved the new tax rate slabs of 5 and 8% and a 40% for sin goods. My colleague Tim C, who has been tracking this GST updates closely, filed this report last night with the key takeaways from the Council meet. Tim C.
The GST Council has unanimously decided to come down to a two-slab structure for the next generation reforms under GST. 5% and 18% slabs will be a reality from 22nd of September. The government is very clear that any potential revenue loss will be taken care of with the pent-up demand. Also, when it comes to how the levies will be maintained on pan masala and tobacco, that is yet to be discussed. To be fair, GST Council, without any voting, unanimously all states said that yes, they are in favor of rate rationalization. Rates should come down from the current 4-slab structure to a 2-slab structure of 5%, 18% and a special rate of 40%. 40% will be only on sin goods. The council meeting has now ended. And yes, these rates will also include exemption for insurance premium on life and health insurance, where 18% will now be exempt. Medicines to come down from 12% to 5%. Common use items will come down from current 12% and 18% to 5%. In certain categories, in cases of rare disease medicines, critical cancer care medicines, they could be exempt. A detailed press conference has been done by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Listen in.
This reform is not just on rationalizing rates. It's also on structural reforms. It's also on ease of living, so that businesses can do their business of working together with the GST with a great ease. Rate rationalization, of course. We've reduced the slabs. There shall be only 2 slabs, and we are addressing also the issues of compensation cess. Ease of living, simplifying registration, return filing and refunds. Levied on common man's daily use items have gone through a rigorous looking into, and in most cases the rates have come down drastically. Labor-intensive industries have been given a good support. Farmers and agriculture as a whole will also benefit by the decisions we have taken today. Health-related also will benefit. So the key drivers of economy have been given a prominence. Man items such as hair oil, toilet soap, bars, shampoos, toothbrushes, toothpaste, bicycles, tableware, kitchenware, and other household articles have all come to 5, whether they were in 18 or whether they were in 12. Similarly, reduction of GST from 5% to nil, 5 से 0 में जाने वाले आइटम्स इंडिकेट कर रहा हूं. अल्ट्रा हाई टेम्परेचर मिल्क, द UHT milk, chena or paneer, all the Indian breads will see nil rate. Reduction of GST from 12% or from 18% to 5. इसमें फूड आइटम्स बहुत सारे हैं, नमकीन से भुजिया है, सॉसेस है, पास्ता है, इंस्टेंट नूडल्स है, चॉकलेट्स, कॉफी, प्रिजर्व्ड मीट, कॉर्नफ्लेक्स, बटर, घी, ये सब 5% में आ रही है. From 28 to 18% on small cars and motorcycles which are equal to or below 350 cc. Reduction of GST from 28 to 18 on buses, trucks and ambulances. Uniform rate of 18% on all auto parts, irrespective of the HS code. Three-wheelers from 28 to 18 again.
Let's also listen in to GST Council members representing the states, what they had to say.
No, we made our stand very clear in the morning itself before entering the house that Andhra Pradesh, Mr. Nara Chandrababu Naidu has taken a very clear stand to support the GST 2 reforms. He considers them as the next generation reforms, which is in favor of the common man. So the poorest of the poor is the beneficiary. So the rate restructuring or the rate reduction, in whichever name you call it, will bring down the cost for the common man, will improve the saving, will improve the investment, will expand the economy, which will again, in turn, bring economic activity to the state. So this House had unanimously passed the rate restructuring or rate rationalization, what has been suggested and implemented by, asked by the Government of India.
झारखंड का कंसर्न इतना ही है कि हाँ, ये जो जीएसटी रेशनलाइजेशन की बात हुई है उसमें झारखंड को सीमेंट के सेक्टर में, ऑटोमोबाइल के सेक्टर में 2000 करोड़ रुपए का लॉस होगा प्रत्येक वर्ष. क्योंकि हम मैन्युफैक्चरिंग स्टेट हैं, कंज्यूमिंग स्टेट झारखंड नहीं है, तभी ये नुकसान होगा. हम लोगों ने मांग किया है, मैंने मांग किया कि आप झारखंड को 2000 करोड़ रुपए की भरपाई करें.
कितना लॉस केंद्र सरकार ने बताया कि इतना रेवेन्यू लॉस हो सकता है रेट रेशनलाइजेशन की वजह से?
टोटल 93,000 करोड़ का माइनस में है, लेकिन प्लस जो है वो सिन गुड्स और लग्जरी गुड्स की वजह से 45,000 का होगा. तो नेट जो है बैलेंस
माइनस 93 प्लस 45.
93 माइनस 45.
Also, ITC Chairman Sanjeev Puri has said that the proposed GST cuts can provide good momentum to the economy. He also believes that the tax cuts can boost consumption, which has been lacking due to the elevated costs. Take a look.
This is a very bold step that the government has taken. It's the Honorable Prime Minister announced it on the Independence Day, and I think it's going to have multi-dimensional impact, because it's not just about rate reduction, it is also about simplification, it is also about ease of doing business. So the changes are multidimensional and impacts are going to be even more profound. I think it's certainly going to make things cheaper for the common man. So it will fuel consumption. It will lead to a lot more formalization of the economy.
On that note, we're going to slip into a very short break. After the break, we'll get you the cues for trade in today's trading session. Keep an eye on that. Welcome up to a Power Breakfast on CNBC TV18. A quick look at what the Asian markets are doing. Given the cues that have come in from Wall Street, a bit mixed. We're seeing a mixed opening coming in for the Asian markets. Taiwan index is managing to hold on to gains of 0.8%. Hang Seng, bit muted, red, down 0.1% in today's trading session. Shanghai is down 0.7%. Other than that, ASX 200 and Nikkei are managing to hold on to strong gains of more than 0.7%. Yesterday also we'd seen that the Nifty had actually outperformed most of these other Asian markets. Today also seems like we're watching out for a gap up opening given that the GST boost that has come in, Nifty implied open indicating a 165-point uptick. But given these cues that we're seeing coming in overnight on the domestic and the global front, let's set you up for trade, tell you which are the important cues you should watch out for in the world of F&O as well. Firstly, let me start with the trade setup for today. So obviously in terms of cues that have come in from the US markets, we're seeing a mixed close, right? Nasdaq, S&P 500 managed to close with gains, while Dow Jones saw a bit of a dip coming in. We had those labor market numbers that came in as well, job opening numbers that was at a 10-month low. So that is something that we took cues from the US market. Now, in terms of the flows that came in yesterday, FIIs continue to be sellers, 1,600 crores approximately sell coming in there, while DIIs were buyers of 2,500 crores approximately. Important cues for today is going to be the GST rate rationalization that was announced, right? 5%, 18% rate as well as 40% rate for sin goods is the key that we'll be keeping an eye out on, as well as some of the block deals that we're watching out for today will be on Aptus Value Housing front. So keep an eye out on that. And Nifty implied open as of now, like I mentioned, is 165 points up, a gap up opening. Keep an eye out on the resistance for Nifty at 24,950 as well as support coming in at 24,100. But let's move on and go across to Sudarshan, who's here to tell us which are the important cues in the world of F&O.
Good morning, Vinny. So while global cues are looking mixed, but today's reaction would be all about to our domestic cues that we saw a big GST reset by GST Council approving major changes of two major tax slabs of 5% and 18%. And that was, we got the indication in the second half of the trade yesterday with Nifty Bank seeing a huge recovery, almost 500 points from day's low at the end. Nifty also managed to close above 24,700. It was a broad-based gains and that helped market breadth also. It was in favor of advances with advance decline ratio of 2:1. And today, GIFT Nifty, you can see on the screen, is indicating a gap up start, currently up almost 170 points. But the big question would be, will you be able to sustain the starting gains that we'll see? As far as flows are concerned, again, FIs remain on the sell side. Yesterday also in the cash market, they have sold almost 1,700 crore, while DIs continue to buy. Yesterday we saw DIs buying almost 2,500 crore. And in the index futures, FIs have sold more than 400 crore. And they have added minor long positions of around 400 contracts, also reduced short positions of around 2,800 contracts. And FI long exposure remains at multi-month lows of around 8 to 9%. On the option front, so after the big upward move that we saw in Nifty and all the other major indices in the last hour of trade, that helped call options of 24,750 and 24,700 see huge additions. And on the put side, 24,500 and 24,600 were very active ones. So support for Nifty has now moved higher to 24,600. Resistance 24,900. One stock that has entered the band is RBL Bank.
Yes, Darshan, thank you so much for that. We'll keep an eye out on RBL Bank as well. But on that note, we're absolutely out of time on this edition of Power Breakfast on CNBC TV18. Thank you so much for tuning in. Up next, your Bazaar Morning Call.